Pause it. On the screen.
Recording in progress.
Ready? Good evening. It's 6:30 p.m. on February 6th, 2024. Call to order the City of Franklin Common Council meeting. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Nelson.
Here.
Alderman Holfer.
Here.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Here.
Alderman Hassan.
Here.
Alderwoman Day.
Here.
Alderman Barber.
Here.
Alderman Craig.
Here. Excellent. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item B, citizen comment period. Any citizen wishing to speak, please come to the podium. We're going to make sure the microphone's on. State your name and address for the record. If you are a city employee, please use the address of City Hall for anonymity purposes. Lieutenant.
All right. Well, I'll do the firehouse. I lived there through the year, right? So 4755 West Drexel Avenue, Brad Pulaski. Excuse me. Last year, I reached out to everyone on the council to attend a single day event in Madison. It's called Fire Ops 101, and it was back in May 24th. Fire Ops 101 is a quick glimpse of a day in the life of firefighters. And those that were attending, and this was opened up to the whole state of Wisconsin for any, excuse me, any political, community leader or any other representative or media outlet that wanted to show up. They were brought in. We were out at Madison training grounds for that. They're fitted for protective gear. They're fitted for breathing apparatus as well. And they're actually had operations. They did the day-to-day operations, a little glimpse of the firefighter's life, and they did perform search and rescue. They did fire attack, EMS operations, and vehicle extrication. With that, this was all hosted by PFFW, which is Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin, organization that the Franklin firefighters belong to. And almost 200 people attended. And that day, I talked to everyone about it. I understand commitments pop up, but that Alderman Holfer and Alderman Hassan were able to change up their busy schedules and come out for the day with us. So they got to come out with myself, Zach Menden. He's one of the members of the board as well, and one of the firefighters. We got to co-lead one of the classes with them, do extrication classes with them, and then they were able to shuttle around between, I don't remember, 6 or 8 different groups. Chief Mayor also made an appearance to help show support for the aldermen coming out and doing that with us. I apologize for the delay of delivering these appreciation plaques. They were sent to me late last year, and with us opening negotiations for contracts, I didn't think it was very appropriate for me to come and give any type of appreciation at that moment. But nonetheless, I'm here anyways. So we hope it was a well and well-received event for you two, and learning experience on why we need the appropriate gear, equipment, and the personnel and the staffing, I should say, to do our jobs correctly. But more importantly, for the best standards of the public that we and the patients that we have to serve, and even for the employees here, our safety. On behalf of Local 2760 and the fire department, we appreciate what you did for that day, and thank you for attending. We already did a little photo ops earlier, but nonetheless, here's these. So thank you very much.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks again.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Anthony Hanukkah, 91114 West Buttes Road. The other day, I had a pond and a half in my front yard. So my mother is correct when she used that hydrometer. Millions of gallons go through on the north side of my property, and hardly anything goes on the south side. And everything on the south side is set back. So the path should go on the south side.
Mr. Hennigan, nobody disputes that. Could you just say your name and address for the record, please?
9114 West Buttes.
The Hennigan Homestead.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Hennigan. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time, please approach. Good evening, welcome.
Hi there, Maria Imp, 12131 West Elmwood Drive. I'm in Alderman Craig's district. I have lived at that address probably more than 3/4 of my life, and had the opportunity to interact with virtually every department in Franklin. And I want to just, first of all, take the opportunity to thank you all for your service to Franklin, oftentimes unnoticed and unappreciated. I, as a citizen, have stepped up and I serve on the Board of Trustees for the Franklin Public Library, and that is who I'm here representing this evening. I'm going to read a letter to you with my readers here. Council members, city administrators, and personnel committee members, we are going to be taking this to the Personnel Committee. In November, the Library Board of Trustees was made aware of a recent policy change within the city of Franklin. A library assistant position was open, and Jennifer Loeffel, the library director, was informed that all department heads are now responsible for screening applications for any jobs within their departments. As a result, Jennifer screened more than 60 applicants for the job before selecting qualified applicants to interview. The Board of Trustees of the library is concerned with this policy change. Library employees are city employees, and the city of Franklin employs a human resources manager. According to the city website, one of the services provided by the HR department is to recruit, test, and select employees. The manager is educated in this field, up to date with laws regarding employment, and is qualified to accurately screen applicants. The library director, on the other hand, effectively and successfully oversees the operation of the library and has the training and education to do her job. Asking her to do the job of the HR manager when the city has someone employed in that position does not make sense. The amount of time spent screening applicants for the recent opening was significant and beyond what our board at the library sees as a reasonable amount of time. The board knows that the library is not the only department affected by this decision. All department heads are now being asked to perform human resources duties in addition to their own duties, despite the city having human resources staff. We respectfully request that this decision be reversed. It says reversed in this letter. I would say at least looked at again, so that the library director and all the department heads can continue to focus on running their own departments efficiently and effectively for the well-being of our community. And we submit this respectfully. The Board of Trustees for the Franklin Public Library, and we voted on this January 22nd, 2024 at our board meeting. Because I was not on the agenda this evening, I did not feel like I should pass out that letter to you, but if it's okay, I can give each of you a copy of that. I do have it with me, otherwise I can get it to you at
Vincent,
another.
if you don't mind, we'll just give it to the clerk and she can just distribute it out.
Absolutely.
And then,
That'd be fine. Our next step is we had planned on going to the January Personnel Committee meeting, which didn't take place. So we are going to ask to be on the agenda for the February meeting. So,
That's fair.
and hope to open up a discussion. So,
That sounds good.
okay.
So Madam Clerk, just take yourself. Thank you, Ms. Imp. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time? Going once, going twice, seeing no one. Citizen comment period is closed. Item C, proclamation to designate May 4th, 2024 as Arbor Day in the city of Franklin. Is anybody specifically taking this one? Okay,
He submits it every time.
yeah, right. Am I reading anything special to that or not?
No, this is
Gotcha. Well, no, that's fine. I mean, I know every year we designate the same day. I didn't know if there was somebody speaking on this special that took a special interest in this. Okay. We'll go to item C, approval of minutes, regular common council meeting minutes of January 16th, 2024. Have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second, Mr. Holfer.
Question, unless I missed something when I'm reading this, on both item G12 and G14, G12 says Alderman Day moved to adopt the ordinance, and then further down it says seconded by Alderwoman. And then on G14, it says Alderman Hopper moved, seconded by Alderman. So I don't know if we have the names.
So-
So those corrections.
Okay, do we have a motion with those corrections
Amended.
as amended? Okay, we've got a first, same
Second.
second. First and second, see no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. D. Dave, we have no hearings. E. Edward, we have no organizational business. F. Frank, we have no letters and petitions. Going to item G1, moving forward, okay, the Enchant event, Laura Nelson reached out to me. What we asked for was to have them do the presentation with the final numbers, fiscal impact, a whole slew of things, and she only had about half what she needed to give forth a very thorough and comprehensive report. That will be moved now to February 21st. February 21st, meaning she will have that information, because I know I've got a lot of questions, and a lot of it had to do with final numbers and average spent per person and type of fiscal impact, and also complaints, and she has all that wrapped up and will be here on the 21st. So there'll be no action taken on item G as in George 1. Item G2. Request common council approval to proceed with purchasing radio and emergency equipment to upfit a replacement battalion command vehicle, capital equipment replacement fund number 42-0221-5811.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Alderwoman Day.
Thank you.
Chief?
I don't have a problem with approving this to move forward. I just would request to look at the council action that's requested and the dollar amount that is there. In reviewing the quotes that are in here, the first one from the 1033 Vehicle Services LLC, it states that the quote is valid for 7 days, and the quote came in at the end of December, so we would need to have a new estimate for that. And for the Motorola Solutions, the end says that it's subject to taxes and fees. So I would say if we're moving forward with this now, to either remove the 55,227, where you say you're not going to exceed that, or amend it to say that it will be within, the capital, budget that you put forward, or something along those lines. I don't want to pigeonhole you to this amount, because I think it might be a little over.
Sure. Yep. And it was amazing that when I added the two together, it was an even number. I think I re-added it about 10 times. Both, we're comfortable that both will be agreed upon or held up by the vendors from speaking to them both within days of this. But if we wanted to amend it to stay within the confines of the capital equipment replacement fund request, we will definitely be under budget there. So if we wanted to amend it, that would be fine.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you to
Yep.
the number and then have somebody like hawking through the invoices and, then go back and
Sure.
say, hey, it's over, so.
Sure. Yep.
I'll amend my motion.
Did we have a second on that?
Yeah.
Who was the second?
I did.
Okay, we have, so it's the amended motion, amended second, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we do a roll call on this one, please?
Alderman Holfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderman Trent.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
6 ayes, no noes, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Yep.
Exciting. Request council approval to accept a $622 public donation from the residents of the Sacred Heart at Monastery Lake Senior Complex, and to spend the donation towards firefighter health and wellness training.
Motion to move. Second?
We have a first and a second. You hesitated, took you a little long on that. First and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, I just wanted to personally thank Monastery Lake senior residents for putting that
Alderman
bake
Eichmann,
sale.
you've got the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy birthday as well.
Thank you.
I wanted to just personally thank Monastery Lake senior residences for putting on that bake sale and for making the donations. And it sounds like it was quite a successful bake sale. Hopefully we'll be invited to it next year.
Excellent. I agree with you. Very nice. So we had a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. G4, concept review for a mixed-use development proposal located at 7220 West Ryan Road. Tax key number 884-9999-000. PASA ECE, Apus Investment, applicant. Good evening, Mr. Regulo Martinez.
Thank you. Good evening. Okay. This is a concept review for a mixed-use development proposal. The concept reviews are optional. It allows the applicant to receive comments from city staff and also from elected officials before submitting a final application. And the comments for the concept review are not binding for any future application. Okay. This is the proposed development to be located on Ryan Road next to the recently approved development for our Karma Laboratories. It is a mixed-use development with a mixed-use building here that will include approximately 10,000 of commercial space on the first floor and 9 apartments. And the proposal also include 4 apartment buildings with 29 units, and the total proposed number of units is 38 units. The project will have access to Ryan Road that is subject to approval by the Wisconsin DOT because of the jurisdiction of Ryan Road, and it will have a shared driveway with the Karma development, and also a proposed cross access for future connection. The staff analysis for this request, I will start with the zoning. It's Art A, that is multifamily residential, so the apartments are allowed, but the retail part of this project is not allowed. So the applicant has the option to request a planned development district subject to approval by the Common Council. And also the applicant will need to request a comprehensive master plan amendment because the future land use is commercial, and the applicant will need to request an amendment to mixed use in order to allow for this development. The comprehensive master plan has a future street layout that you will see in the report, which is for reference only. But the proposed development, in staff opinion, is substantially consistent with this street layout because it will have the shared driveway here with a connection to the west as depicted in the comprehensive master plan. It doesn't have a connection to the east as is in the comprehensive master plan, but at this time, city development staff does not recommend that connection to the east because in the natural resource protection plan, there is a stream here and also wetlands. So in order to protect the natural resources, that connection to the east is not recommended. However, this area will remain free of structures and will allow a future connection if that is needed. The compatibility with adjacent land uses. The site plan that was approved for Karma Laboratories has a landscape buffer approximately in this area. And the staff recommendation is that this development will also provide a landscape buffer in this area. So that will provide some kind of separation between the industrial use for Carmel Laboratories and the proposed multifamily residential use. On the southwest area, approximately here, the current zoning for the adjacent property is B3, that is business, and the proposed use in this area is mixed use. So staff sees that as a compatible uses, because also in the B3 zoning, mixed use may be permitted. And to the east, as I mentioned before, there are natural resources. So the staff recommendation for the plan development district or site plan will be the provision of conservation easements to protect the existing natural resources. Okay. With regards to compliance with the Unified Development Ordinance, staff is concerned with the proposed density. According to the UDO section for new plan development districts, the maximum density is 8 dwelling units per acre. That will result in a maximum yield for this site of 22 units, and the applicant is proposing 38 units. The UDO allows that the Common Council may approve higher densities if the development meets a community purpose. The applicant justification for this is the amenities, that is basically the commercial and retail space that is proposed in one of the buildings. For the non-residential part, according to the calculations provided by the applicant, the development will comply with the landscape surface ratio and the floor area ratio for new plan development districts. For natural resources, staff anticipate the requirement of a natural resource special exception. According to the Natural Resource Protection Plan, there are some impacts to wetland buffers that will require the exception. With regards to parking, the applicant is proposing basically 30% over the minimum requirement of the UDO for parking. Approximately, he's proposing 150 parking spaces. And according to the UDO, projects that substantially exceeds the requirement of the UDO are discouraged. The Plan Commission may approve an increase up to 10%, but this is 30%, so staff anticipate that reduction of the parking quantity will be required, or the applicant may request that additional parking in the plan development district. Other alternative that do not require a rezoning or an amendment to the comprehensive master plan, the staff identify that this property could be developed with multifamily residential only, without the mixed-use building. That will require a special use application without any rezoning or amendment to the comprehensive master plan. The other alternative is to rezone to the B3 zoning to allow for mixed-use buildings, but all the buildings needs to be mixed-use in that case. And that will be consistent with the comprehensive master plan. We have a commercial land use for this site. For concept reviews, staff does not provide a recommendation, just provides like kind of a summary and the facts. And the applicant is here to provide additional information if required.
Okay, good. I know I've got 4 questions. If the applicant could come up here, please. Actually, you can come to the table and yeah, just slide right in there. And before we start, you state your name and address. You can use your business address for the record, please.
Sure. Hi, Tim Netbrath, Wellspring Construction, 227 Sussex Street, Pewaukee, Wisconsin, 53072. We're the design build contractor for Pasha, who is the owner of the property.
Okay. I'd like to start, and then I'll lead it in. So I've got 4 questions. Number 1, how much are you focusing on the rents of it? What do you think it's going to cost per month to rent one of these apartments?
We have not done the study on the total rents right now, so we're working reasonably on the, what is the highest and best use of the property right now? As end of Regulo's report, this journey started back in 2019
Right.
with a very similar meeting where we received support for the project. The development of the Karma Labs property to the west slowed down that development, trying to figure out for the community what is the highest and best use for that whole corridor. At the time, we received information that commercial development of the property was the master plan and was a higher and better use according to the current staff and administration. So we put the pause on this project. Now that Karma Labs has a more defined timeline and there's a better picture of what's going on, we wanted to come back and have the same conversation to see if we got the same support we received back in 2019.
So you couldn't tell us right now what range you're looking at? Like, I mean, because I'm going to lead into my other 3 questions, and then you're going to kind of pick up where I'm coming at here with this.
Unfortunately, I'm a builder, not a broker. I don't have that
I mean,
information.
okay, you're building it. Is anybody here that can answer, what are you looking at for rents?
The previous study,
Could you please state your name and address for the record, please?
yes, my name is Pasha Ece, 7220 West Ryan Road, Franklin.
Thank you.
Previous study shows $1.80 per square foot for rental. So what it means if it is,
Yeah, I'm not a math person. My head already hurts, so.
if it is, for example, 1,000 square foot, we are talking about $1,800 per month.
Okay. Now I see this here. So are you proposing any underground parking spots?
No.
Are you
Garden
propos-
style apartments?
So you're not proposing any underground? Are you proposing any, do you have any garages? So people will be parking their cars in garages?
Yes, each unit would have a single car garage.
Okay, so each unit has their own garage?
Correct.
So, because I guess, my thing is I'm looking at, we don't want that sea of parking lot and people working on their cars and all that kind of stuff that looks terrible for the city. Okay, that's that part of it. And as far as the retail spot, if that was to go through, what type of retail are you looking to lure in to there?
Office, food, that area, there's plans for the whole southern portion of Carmex's property be developed as retail. So it'll be the same thing. Could it be a sub shop? Could it be a coffee shop? Could it be an insurance agent? Any one of those would be acceptable for us.
Okay, but nothing focusing right now. That's fine. Thank you. I'll yield. Anyone else right this one? Okay, Alderwoman Day, then Alderman Barber.
Kind of going down the same line of questioning that the mayor was. We'll use the 1,800 just for a ballpark for those types of apartments. And then assuming that would be for the 1-bedroom and the 2-bedroom would be a little bit more just by square footage. So my concern is always with price points at that level, the location of the property. It's a busy road. It's not a great intersection. They're the main intersection with 76 and Ryan. We've heard a lot when Karma was here about their building and what was going to happen to that intersection, and knowing that those are 2 roads that the city doesn't have control over as far as updating the intersection. I'm concerned about injecting a lot more traffic into that area. But on top of that, the neighbors, if you're talking $1,800 to $2,500 a month for an apartment, I don't know what the market for that is going to be, where on one side you're looking at a busy state highway, on one side you're looking at a factory building, and on the other side you're looking at a jail. So I don't know that it's the best use of the property for residential use. So I'm all for developing the property. I think there's a window of opportunity here, especially with Karma bringing in people to that area. But I don't know that at this point, high-end apartments are going to be in demand in that particular location.
Thank you. Alderman Barber, then Alderwoman Eichman.
This is more for Regulo, at this point. Where would the outlots for Karma come up to on this particular, where would that be in relation to what's being proposed here?
Use your pointer.
I'm sorry. Sorry. The industrial part is approximately, will be this area north, the N1 zoning, and this is the commercial lots for the Karma.
Would be
Yeah, approximately here, right.
Okay, what would be adjacent to the units here then on the Karma property? And how far a setback is?
Here?
Yeah,
Well, that was not part of the approved site plan because the approved site plan was for the industrial area.
but the Karma property would be at what point on this one?
The approximately here will be the line between the industrial and the commercial. But the site plan for this has not been submitted yet. It was approved only for the industrial part.
I'm just thinking in relation to Karma. Will there be traffic that's going to affect these properties in any way?
Well, it will be here to the proposed cross-access connection.
I'd have to see it, I guess. On the map, so. Side by side.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've seen some conceptual plans that Carmex has done, and everything directly west of us
Yeah.
would remain business, and the industrial would remain north of our north property line.
Okay, so everything is north, the outlots would probably be at your north end then.
Yes,
Yeah, what
so
you're
if you draw a line straight across, or the conceptual plans I've seen at least, go straight across, and then we did design our yeah, so we did design our driveway and our parking lot to work with them on having one access onto Ryan Road rather than having multiple access, which would be opposed by the DOT. So we've been in discussions with Carmex and designed in conjunction with them.
Thank you. Alderwoman Eichman.
Thank you, Mayor. Several of my questions have already been answered. So as far as the rent that would be charged, is it fair to say the market value, higher end upscale?
We're gonna study about it, but as I said, we work with the funders, the brokerage company. They studied for us and a couple of years ago, and they came up with $1.80 per square foot.
Thank you. And that's a question that we often get asked as alders when there's new apartment complexes going in within our city. And so often a misconception is when it's a concept review, all it takes is one person to blog or write on Facebook, this is what's happening. And, sometimes there's confusion within our city of a concept review, which, versus what is actually happening at the time. And then my second question would be, would these be family-friendly apartments? Do you plan to include a playground? Would they be dog-friendly? Are you going to have a dog park? And if you don't have those answers, I know it's in the early stages, that's okay.
Yeah, it's still the early stages, and we don't have any specific amenities included in it. That'd be part of the marketing of the overall. The big idea tonight is get the support for the proposed density, so we can take the plans to the next level, determine what the market rates are for rent, and what amenities are important to those people that want to rent it.
I yield, thank you.
Alderman Craig.
Just going back to a question the mayor had about where you're saying that every apartment's going to have that one car garage. So then the minimum of the 115 parking stalls, that would be above and beyond what would be required then, or like?
Yeah, we'll happily reduce the number of parking stalls. We're trying to provide enough parking, but to reduce it would not be a sacrifice at all with the overall
Sure,
design.
and that kind of leads into the other part of this, because I like to dance with this. Would that then, would that weigh as far as what sort of business you'd want to attract? Because obviously if it's a Subway or like a Mike's, Jersey Mike's sub shop, you're gonna have people coming in and out more frequently than like, you know, someone's State Farm agency that's gonna be set up there, and maybe the requirement of parking slots will be not as highly coveted as you would if, you know, you had a pizza joint or something like that running out of there. Does that take any sort of factor as to what you're gonna, as far as the parking density that you'd want to achieve there?
Yeah, as we said, with the support of the council here, of the proposal, we really start doing the marketing. And I talk about the marketing for the residential portion, but also marketing for the retail portion. Who is that person? Who is going to want to be in this corridor at this time point? So as Pasha said, that we work with Founders 3, the retail division will tell us that, hey, in that area, you have a high likelihood of getting all office, or a high likelihood of getting all fast food, or a high likelihood of getting, you know, fine dining. We don't have those answers now, but we can get those answers before we'd come back to this. We'd have a better picture for you of who those users would be.
Okay. And then my other question, regarding the road there. This has come up with the Snowmageddon that came through recently, where private roads like that, and you have residents that, you know, they just see snowy road, that's a city problem. But how fast would you be able to like anticipate the ability to clear that for your renters in that space, so that way, you know, it's not a phone call to an alder in this area saying, this is unacceptable, I pay my taxes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why is there still, you know, I still see 3 snowflakes on the street here. What's going on? So what would that be? And I don't know if that would be more of a question for you, but for you, sir, would that be something that, you know, the level of responsiveness, you know, what would we be kind of looking at for that?
I mean, we just would have a commercial contractor in charge of removing the snow.
Okay.
No different than any other retail development. And we'd also have, you know, management, that the first call should be to the management of the apartments, not to the city.
Okay.
But I do sympathize with you. It was quite the snowstorm.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Hofer.
I guess as I look at that entire area in its entirety, and I look at the comprehensive master plan, my strong preference would be to see much more retail. I understand the retail world has changed quite a bit over the last few years, but I just wonder about, given the distance off the road is 10,000 square feet, and you've got 5 2,000 square foot spots, the viability currently right now of what kind of business is going to go in there. Again, my preference would be something larger and more commercial. Obviously, when you look at the other development that will be around what's a major intersection, I don't know that that's the highest and best use. It may be today, but down the road, I have issues with it.
I mean, with the depth of the property, obviously retail properties, you want shallow and wide. This is a very deep property, very narrow property. The other idea is that it is kind of a transitional property. You do it as, you know, the plan is for the future. We'll see what happens as you go further to the west. That is all business there with retail orientated. But as you go to the east, the transition, we do have the wetlands to the east of us. So this is kind of a transition, retail, mixed use to more of a natural preserve area.
I disagree, but I
Okay.
dealt with business people for many, many years, and cars are driving by at 45, 50 miles an hour and nobody stops. So I guess for me, something that would be a little larger, that might be a destination type business, as opposed to a sub shop or a vape shop or whatever the case may be. You know, insurance offices that might be able to work out. Just, I'm not overly excited, sorry.
Mr. Barber?
Question on the, how far is that building away from Ryan at this point? What's the setback? And then how, and parking would, for the businesses would be facing Ryan?
Yeah, if Regulo can highlight that. So it's probably about, it's about 130 feet, 140 feet from the right-of-way to that first building. And then you have double stack parking in front of the building itself.
So how do supply trucks come in and out, and where do they come to the front of the building, or is there gonna be something that the tenants look at from the back? Would trucking be deliveries, like that, garbage, everything? Where would all that be in relation to the housing units? And then from the roadway, I don't want it to look like a strip mall as such. It's not
Yeah.
all about at that location.
Yeah, so we did submit, not a rendering, but just a image survey of what our vision of that front building is, where you'd have an attractive retail, oh, there it is, right there. Just want to scroll down a little bit.
And then the supply trucks would go to the back,
That is correct.
residences are?
Yeah, if you go back to the site, so this is one of the retail on the first level, apartments on the upper level. And those apartments in the upper level would not have a garage. Those would be single bedroom units above the retail without a garage. Scroll down a little bit more. So again, those two pictures show retail on the first floor and then apartments above, just as trying to get you an image of what our vision of that property would be as you drove past on Ryan Road.
So it's a 3-story building then?
No, it's just a 2-story building. We're just using this as an example.
And where does trucks come in and out to make
Yeah.
deliveries, do pickups? Where's the garbage, the waste or whatever that they're going to produce?
Yeah,
How
there's-
is all that being handled in relation to the residents?
You just scroll down to the back of the building there a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, trucks would be delivering in the back. So if you,
Want to use the pointer, please, Regulo?
I can
Our
use
high-tech pointer.
this work. Where's the button on here?
Here's a fee.
On there? All right. So trucks would come here for deliveries. The retail space has a hallway across the whole back area here. So we can take deliveries. Deliveries would be come in the back right here. You come into each one of these retail spaces to get in through the back of the building. Dumpsters are over here, dumpsters are over there.
Just my thought is I wouldn't want to be in those apartments looking at all that going on in front of me. Just a thought.
Thank you. Mike, are you good?
I'm done.
All right, Alderwoman Day.
And then one last question that I had that I forgot when I was speaking before. Mr. Martinez, in his presentation to us, talked about the density issues. And your proposal is quite a bit higher than what they came up with as a staff presentation to us. Can you just walk us through how you determined the number of units for this particular property?
Yeah. So the R8 zoning would allow for 24 apartment units. And we can build that right now. What we heard back in 2019, what the city didn't want, master plan, I have to say, was not for residential there. So we didn't get a whole lot of support on doing strictly residential at 22 units. So we tried to come up with a hybrid idea, how to use this property for the highest and best use. So we tried to incorporate the commercial component, which conforms with the master plan, and also provide, use the whole property. If we put only 22 units on here, we're not maximizing the use of the property.
So it was based on just,
Site maximization based on green space requirements, stormwater requirements. We do comply with all the DNR requirements to the east. All the setbacks you see on there do comply with that. We have done a full civil engineering study on the property.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Regulo, is this within TID 9? It is in TID 9? You have to see how much residential within TID 9?
What does that answer, I guess? So, John?
Which impact the other parts
So right now, Glenn, do you have a comment on this?
I was just going to say with everything else that's in TID 9 that we know of, this is the only residential that's been established. So for now, the ratio wouldn't be a problem. It's the next guy that would have to think about that.
Mr. City Attorney, then Mr. Hassan.
Only with regard to developers representative, is thought to appear here and hopefully get support of the common council that per the council action sheet, no comments made at a concept review meeting and are in any way binding upon any actions by the city during a subsequent required applications process. So,
Understood. But hopefully we can get, before we leave, get a good flavor of whether this is something that is well received or we go back to the drawing board. That's what we're looking for tonight. Do we proceed down the path? Because there's a good deal of money spent on design and engineering at this time, and to have feedback, at least an opinion, would be greatly appreciated.
Alderman Hassan?
My only concern is because of the location, as Alderwoman Day mentioned, there's jail and there's a factory in the area. If you're not gonna get the $1.80 per square foot, will you then have to lower your rent for that, or?
Right now, as you know, apartment rent is higher than that, and there's gonna be luxury apartments. We know the Franklin School. We will try to create a subdivision. It attracts people.
I yield.
Thank you. Alderwoman Eichman.
Thank you. I, on the other hand, feel that that piece of property is being put somewhat to good use because there's going to be so many employees that Carmex brings in, being the worldwide headquarters. I mean, how wonderful to live so close to where somebody works. It's going to be bringing a lot of population to that corner of Franklin as far as needing more areas for people to dine or grab a quick lunch on a lunch break. That intersection is an area that, adjoining communities in Racine County enter into Franklin through there being so popular. So I personally think that that is some good use for that land. And that's just my personal thought on it and feedback at this time. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you.
Going back to Alderman Barber, then City Engineer.
Just one quick question. Has Wellspring developed any other properties in the area that serve as a model for what you're doing here?
You may want to say that again, Alderman. I know you. I don't know if you. Could you please say that again?
I bit the.
I know you didn't bring any snacks tonight.
Yeah, actually, a good example is the 3-story building you saw as a reference on there. Both myself and our project architect, Sean Maher's with Madison Maher Architects. He's with us as well. We worked on that project together.
And where's that?
That's in Pewaukee.
Oh, that's in Pewaukee. So nothing in the immediate area that is a reference point?
I can't point to anything, no.
Alderman Day, you have something?
I'm sorry if I missed it. Can I ask what
Alderman
that?
Eichman, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. What is that property in Pewaukee? I'm in the Pewaukee area quite a bit. So
Oh,
I just wanted to
the
take it
Beachscapes
back.
development right on the Village Beach.
It's Beachscape?
Yeah,
I'm very familiar with it. Thank you. I yield.
that by there's a wine bar on the lower level and some other boutiques there. It's an awesome
I
place.
was just there very recently, actually, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Interesting. Mr. City Engineer.
There's a couple of comments, questions about Ryan Road and proximity to the intersection. So if you measure from the center of 76 to where this driveway would be, it's 1,000 feet. So that's like 2.5 city blocks away. And then as was mentioned, I would stress that the 2 Carmex outlots were denied any more access to the Ryan Road. So they must come through here. So in addition to just the passerby on Ryan Road that hopefully won't have to stop as often as they do now, you'll have people visiting those other outlots that will be driving by and giving this additional views.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, thank you very much. We're not going to take any action at this time. Anything closing, if you want to wrap anything up real quick. If not, we're going to get back with you on this.
I guess I'm not hearing a clear consensus right now.
Well, it's because we, just like the, our Mr. City Attorney said, not action taken. If we've heard some feedback, and we'll be working more forward with our planning department.
Any questions you want to know?
No, but we have been waiting for 5 years now. We invested, we really appreciate your support for this project. And unfortunately, full retail is not gonna work right now. It's not the best investment right now. We know the retail business, we know the office business. I think the best usage is what we are offering for the land. That's what can I say?
Well, thank you, sir, but thank you for coming tonight and answering our questions. All right?
All right.
Further action taken, moving on to G5.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the Director of Health and Human Services to accept and execute the Alliance Wisconsin Youth State Opiate Resource, SOR3 Prevention Grant Agreement.
Motion to move.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G6, 3-year agreement for towing and storage of motor vehicles with N&S Towing, Inc. Is there a motion for this?
Move to.
Mr. Hassan?
Second.
Seconded by Barber. We've got some discussion. So Hassan and Barber, first and second. Alderwoman Day, then Alderman Eichmann.
So I understand from reading the action sheet that there were 2 proposals received, but they are not in the packet for us to review. I also understand that the police and fire chief did review those, so I guess absent of those in front of us, I guess I would like to know what it was that received their support for this company versus the other. Was there a difference in price point? Was one more expensive than the other? And those types of things. Like I said, absent of having them in front of me to review, I don't really know how to vote on this particular item.
I'd like Madam Clerk to chime in on this, please. Your light on.
We did get 2 proposals. They weren't bids, it was proposals. N&S Towing had the contract for, well over 10 years. In the beginning, I sent a message to the fire chief and the police chief and asked them about the service. And both of them said they've had no problems, they're exceptional. We'd rather stay with N&S Towing. The fees that are involved, the city doesn't end up paying anyway. There's a motor vehicle accident, they tow the vehicle, and it's usually who owns the vehicle, the insurance that pays for that. So, that answered.
For now, I yield, yes.
So one of the things I'd like to add to this, and Chief is here as well, N&S is used widely by many, many law enforcement agencies in the county. I don't have my count book in front of me, but I've used them. They're excellent. And more importantly, they also have a secure tow yard. So if you do have something that you need secure or something with a hold on it, it's there. They run an excellent operation. I hear nothing bad from any other municipalities. So that's just my point to this. Chief, you have anything else to add to that?
Just, and I'm glad you mentioned the lot. The police department by far has the most interaction with the towing company compared to fire. But in talking to Chief Learman, that was actually one of the items he pointed out was the competitor proposal to N&S. They did not have the amount of secure storage that N&S indicated in their proposal. As well as we have been very impressed with their responsiveness when we're out on a scene on the roads. N&S has always been very responsive to the needs. So from my discussion with Chief Learman, those were kind of the big things that we were looking at.
Thank you, Chief. Alderwoman Day, then Alderman Barber.
Thank you, Chief. And I do trust your recommendation as well as Chief Learman. Just from my perspective up here, it would be nice to have the full picture of what's going on and why this particular company was chosen to continue service with them. Just from the 2 paragraphs here, there's no real background of information, especially for those of us who are newer to the council and don't have that background. So just in the future, it would be nice to have the background. Thank you.
Alderman Barber?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement based upon the recommendations and the comments that have made this evening. I'll trust our staff to understand the importance of this and the value of it. So I will make the motion to approve.
Second that.
So we've got a first and a second. We got some further discussion with City Attorney and Alderman Eichman.
We already voted, so I yield. My comments were similar to those of
Alderman,
Alder
excuse
Women
me.
Days. Thank you.
City Attorney.
You didn't already vote. You already moved, which is when I raised my hand because I wanted to state that on the action sheet, I believe it states subject to technical corrections or changes by the city attorney. I've already done that. They're very minor. In section 7E and section 12, second paragraph, use of the word "he" referring to contractor, and I just said change the word "he" to contractor. And with regard to the expiration date, it had 2024 in there, and I said change it to February 28. And actually it had 2021 in there, February 28, 2027. And that the certain terms referred to therein shall survive the expiration of this agreement, not only on that day, but perhaps any earlier termination date and any extension of this agreement for any time after February 28, 2027. And then I suggested or stated Director of Finance and Treasurer should be added to the signature lines and notary provision therefore, and that's it.
As amended, if not there already.
They're all ready with the motion.
Hassan made the motion and Barbara second.
It was
Okay, so we already had a first and a second as amended. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. City Attorney.
not as amended. The motion before that was just to approve.
City Clerk just said as amended, so I said as amended. So what should we agree on before we move forward?
Whatever the first motion was.
Motion to approve the agreement for NNS towing.
Well, we
As
al-
set forth on the action sheet.
It already states that subject to technical correction.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we read it verbatim, this motion, which should clear up anything, and this, the first motion was made by Mr. Hassan. If you would, Alderman Hassan, if you would please read this in its entirety as your motion.
Motion to approve the agreement with N&S Towing, Inc. for vehicle towing and storage of motor vehicles for the period March 1st, 2024 through February 28, 2027, subject to technical correction by the city attorney.
That's the first, and then we have a second by Alderman Barber. See no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G7. Geographic Marketing Advantage LLC Agreement for Geographic Information System, GIS, Support and Database Maintenance Services for 2024. Good evening, Mr. Director.
Normally, that we turn around and do the budget agreement before we actually do the contracts. It's typical that before we turn around and can establish a contract, you actually have to have the funding for it or modifications to the funding. So I would propose turning around and doing item G8 first and then doing item G7 second.
Well, do we have a motion to go out of order and go G8 first?
I'll make that motion to proceed with G8 and then follow up with G7.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, going to G8. An ordinance to amend ordinance 2023-2569, ordinance adopting the 2024 annual budgets for the general fund to carry forward $1,100 of unused 2023 JS support services appropriations.
So moved.
Do we, any more discussion on this? Yes.
It's pretty open.
Sure. Alderman Hofer.
It said in the narrative here somewhere that this is done annually after the first of the year.
I would like to actually eventually get the contracts to be a multi-year contract instead of an annual contract for over 10 to 12 years now that we've used Todd Dietemiter's consulting company. They've done an excellent job on it. We've always been under budget. for it, that it's always been in the black, and we're carrying the money over to turn around and give a 3% increase for this year. The budgeting process is normally kicked off in June, while the contracts that we get don't come out till December. So there's a 6-month gap, and we quite frequently forget to turn around and actually establish some form of cost of living adjustment for his consulting company on it, because we don't see it, the contract really until December on it. If we can move to a multi-year contract, that might prevent this from happening in the future. But what basically happened is in the budgeting process, we just basically established the exact same rate that they turned around and did the previous year. We're under the rate. Our burn rate on it is we're always in the black on it. They normally take vacation, et cetera, and they're not paid for the vacation. So we always consistently are under budget for what they have, but because we're establishing a contract, we need to make sure that we are fully funded for anything that potentially could be at that contracted rate for 52 weeks.
So historically, what have increases been? That's 3%.
It's normally what the employees get is what
And
we
then
normally put in the
something
contract.
brought forward, or are we forwarding
The contract was actually approved, I believe, in December, but we had the contract with the rate not on it. So now we're representing the contract again with the additional 3%. It's the same contract, just with the 3% on it.
Great, thank you. I yield.
All right, Alderman Day.
Thanks. I just wanted to say, for the record, I can't say enough good things about Todd and Brian. I've worked with them very closely for several years. Can't say enough good things about them, and I'm happy that they continue to want to work for the city of Franklin amongst all of their other companies and municipalities they work for. Just a couple of questions I have, just to maybe make this easier for us moving forward. Two potential options, maybe. I don't know if Todd is open to having his contract shift to be a little bit more in tune with our budget cycle, or if not, if he wants to still continue work on a calendar year, which might be easier for him, if there's a way that the director of finance or something can put a note in the budget so that when we're at that time that we kind of remember to do that, so that we don't have to continually come back for the amendment. Just my two thoughts on it. No problems with doing this, just my two thoughts to make it easier going forward.
I agree.
Thank you. So do we have a motion on this?
There was a motion there.
That's what I asked.
We don't have one.
So-
Second.
You made a
There's no
motion to
second.
take 8 or 7.
Okay, so is there a motion on item G8?
So move.
Second.
So we got a first and a second. This is a roll call vote. Seconded by Alderwoman Day.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Hassan.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderman Hofer.
Aye.
6 ayes, no noes, motion carries. Returning back to item G7. Is there a motion on this?
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. There is no roll call required. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
G9, new housing fee report for 2023. Madam Director of Administration.
So basically, this is just an annual report that is provided by the Director of Inspection Services and put on file. It's no action to be taken. Thank you.
Second.
We have a first and a second to put on file. See no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Item G10, the November 2023 financial report is attached. The Finance Committee reviewed the draft, let's see here, and recommends their acceptance. Madam Finance Director, anything other than receive and place on file?
No, other than I provided you the new page 122. It was brought up to myself by one of the Finance Committee members that there was a line missing under the to-date financial report. It was just hidden. All the calculations were correct, but the line was hidden, so I unhid it so that you can see it. It was for the MMSD grant that is in TID 8 for Hickory Street.
Alderman Barber.
It mentions on TID 5 that there's a shortfall and letters have been sent about the shortfall. What were the amounts of those letters? In those letters? For the the actual shortfall amounts?
I don't have the exact amounts on me, but I believe it was roughly 1,020,000.
And it'll be more coming in March?
Mike's not on, Mike.
More will be coming in March?
We have submitted the invoices for all of our TID shortfalls, TID 5 and TID 6. The due date on those was January 18th. As of today, we still haven't received payment for the TID 5 shortfall, and so I believe city attorney has sent out a default letter stating that it has to be submitted by February 21st.
Could we see those letters as part of the packet with the announcement, or at least give it to me with the amounts that are being requested?
Sure, I believe we're going to have a conversation at the next meeting, and so I can definitely make sure that that's in there.
That's going to be an item in next meeting. Do we have a motion to receive this and place on file?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. G11, ordinance to amend ordinance 2023-2569, an ordinance adopting the 2020 annual budgets for the capital outlay fund to provide additional resources and appropriations in the amount not to exceed $50,000 for the purchasing and planting of trees.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion on this? This would be a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Holfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderman Hassan.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
6 ayes, no noes, motion carries. Well done. G12, motion to authorize the Director of Health and Human Services to accept, execute, and deliver the 2024 Division of Public Health consolidated contracts to continue funding health department grants.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Let's see, item G13 is a list of donations for October through December 2023. Looking for a motion on this one, if you see it on the back of the page.
Motion to acknowledge and accept the donations received for October through December 2023 from various Franklin residents and businesses. I
Second.
would like to add, I thank them.
Excellent, we've got a first and a second with Alderman Craig. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
You didn't look this way.
I looked, I didn't see your hand fully, like there. Mr. Barber, you have the
Just a
floor.
quick comment. Do all these people that care to make a donation, do they get some acknowledgement of that from the city, a thank you, or by the department or anything?
I don't know if the individual departments sent anything or not.
Madam Clerk, I could not hear you.
No, I think this was the intended acknowledgement is by approving this
Oh,
at
okay. I was
a
just saying,
council meeting.
thank you for the
Not that we
department
can't-
would be nice.
Well, from the
Consider-
department.
yeah.
I mean, when you're donating X amount of dollars to the K-9 program, that would be on the onus of the PD.
Yeah.
Same thing with the fire
I'm
department.
just thinking that'd be a nice touch.
I'm sure it already happens. I'm very sure it happens with the PD. But,
Maybe with yours, I'm assuming for sure it'd be yours, but.
good. Mr. Holfer.
I was just going to add that, like, for civic celebrations, they get signs that are on display for all of their contributions as well.
Right. However, I mean, should we,
Alderwoman Eichman, you've got the floor.
thank you, Mayor. I mean, we could name each and every one of these donations if we wanted, otherwise, as everything in every common council packet is available online, as we know.
As we know, yes, ma'am. Any further discussion? Seeing none, let's see this. So you made the motion to acknowledge it. Was there a second on this?
Yes.
Good. All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Licenses. Who's taking licenses today?
That would be me, Mayor.
All right, Alderwoman Eichman, you've got the floor.
Thank you. So the first two operator licenses that were to appear tonight will be appearing at our next meeting. And the other 8 applicants on here were all approved. The meeting was called to order by myself at 5:45. Present were Alderman Craig and Alderwoman Day. We adjourned the meeting at 5:51. Alderman Craig made the motion to adjourn, seconded by Alderwoman Day. That is all we have. Thank you.
Okay. Are you, is that your, so that's your motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Is there a second on this?
Second.
Second by Alderman Craig. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Going into item I, Ida. A motion approving the following city vouchers with an ending date of February 1st, 2024 in the amount of $23,152,786.81. Payroll dated January 26, 2024, in the amount of $510,858.21, and payments of the various payroll deductions in the amount of $615,359.05, plus city matching payments. And point three, estimated payroll dated February 9th, 2024, in the amount of $480,000, and payments of the various payroll deductions in the amount of $276,000, plus city matching payments. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
We have a first.
Second.
We have a second, Mr. Hassan. This is a roll call, please.
Question?
Uh-oh, Mr. Hopfer's got the floor.
So the last main paragraph about the money erroneously paid from the city bank code, could you explain that for us?
Madam Director of Finance.
Sure, when our accounting clerk is inputting tax refunds and treasury checks into BSNA, there's a box that allows you to choose which bank account you are making the transactions out of. And so instead of changing it to property tax, she left it at the normal bank. And so it's just a journal entry on our end to reverse it out
No
of.
harm, no foul, no penalties?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope,
thank you.
It's
Okay,
all
we
in
have-
the system, not physical money.
Okay, we've got a first and a second. This is a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Holfer.
Aye.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Aye.
Alderman Hassan.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
Aye.
Alderman Barber.
Aye.
Alderman Craig.
Aye.
6 ayes, oh no, motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Well done.
Mayor, may we ask how old you are today?
You were 13 minutes over.
I know. Thank you, everyone. There is a nice cake here.